Hello, live from Las Vegas. We are at Adobe Summit 2017. I'm Wendy Steinley, Director of Marketing Strategy and Operations at Adobe. And I'm joined today by Nick Drake, Senior Vice President of Digital at T-Mobile. And we are here live in the Summit tank and talking about experience business and really kind of what T-Mobile's experience has been. Nick, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
How's your time been at Summit so far?
I think, to use the cliched word of the day, it's been an amazing experience.
Of course it has. Well, you know, speaking of that, we hear the social team, Adobe social team has been a little bit jealous of the firestorm of viralness on your Twitter account, because you put out an offer of 20% off for life of T-Mobile One. Tell me, what's that about?
Well, first of all, I think this is probably a little bit of social justice. To give you a little bit of history, we launched a new loyalty program called Get Thanked, or T-Mobile Tuesdays, a few months ago. It was a complete reinvention of loyalty where we just give customers free stuff every Tuesday. You download an app, no gimmicks, no points to collect. You literally just click a button and get your free thing. And so we were giving our customers Domino pizzas. And both Domino's and ourselves completely underestimated how many T-Mobile people loved pizza. And we kind of broke Domino's for a little period of time. and me making this offer yesterday kind of broke my social account for a period of time. So I've been getting a little bit of help from back in the office. But yesterday we offered our friends at Adobe 20% off our brand new rate plan, T-Mobile One. It's a complete reinvention of rate plan. We used to have up to 200. It was incredibly complex. I mean, how did our customers know, or anybody's customers know, what rate plan to choose? And the other guys still operated with sort of data buckets and all this kind of thing. We said, we're going to get rid of all of that, everything all in, and the amount that we're telling you that it is, which is $70 a line or 4 lines for 160, is going to be the actual number that appears on your bill. So your taxes and fees are included as well. The most simple way to sell a rate plan, and it's designed to be sold digitally.
Yeah.
Now, I underestimated that by giving people off 20% for life, that half of the summit would want to take me up on the offer. Well, so I've been inundated with people requesting the VIP hookup code.
Yeah, and you know, I scrolled a lot of the comments, and many people were saying, I am switching from, you know, carrier X, Y, or Z. Yeah. Because of Nick's comments and because of T-Mobile's focus on the customer. And you know, from your keynote presentation, you were talking about T-Mobile's focus on being customer-centric and being digital first. Can you tell us a little bit what that looks like?
Yeah, I mean, customer-centric is something that's often overplayed, I think, on stages. You often hear people saying, we're all about the customer, but at T-Mobile it is really our organizing principle. It started with our new CEO, John Ledger, 4 years ago when he announced the uncarrier movement, or the uncarrier revolution, as we like to call it. But simply put, his notion was, if we're talking to customers and listening to customers, we could prioritize the things that they most want us to change. And our industry was full of horrific pain points back in those days.
Right.
And so over time, we've been knocking down those pain points. We prioritize the things that we've heard. And it's not just through customer care and retail, but all of his executives have been tasked with talking to customers through any medium that they want to talk to us. So our email addresses are public, our phone numbers are public, and we're very responsive in social media, or we try to be if we're not inundated by Adobe Summit attendees. And so this focus needed to be transferred into the digital space. We had iterated brilliantly, I think, in the offline space. We'd really listened to customers and changed the experience of retail and customer care, but we had some opportunity in the digital space. And so 2 years ago, I set the team the objective of becoming a customer-centric, experience-obsessed, digitally native team. And that's enabled us to start improving the front-end experience, the pieces of our digital properties that customers engage with in a far faster manner than we could previously.
Right. So what does that experience look like for a customer today? You know, how is it different from maybe what they had before?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing we went to go tackle for prospects was T-Mobile.com. And the previous site was a little bit dry. It was very commerce orientated. It sort of listed all our offers and promotions, and it did nothing to tell the T-Mobile story. So we ground up, built the site for Adobe Experience Manager.
Okay.
And so first thing you see is we've utilized lightweight video. It's modular, so we can swap content in and out based on real-time feedback. But more than that, by harnessing Adobe Analytics, Adobe Target, and Adobe Audience Manager, we've been able to deliver personalization at scale, which is a huge breakthrough for us. And so now every customer is getting a unique experience. We first started with some localization. We've got a great network story to tell. We've really built out the network recently.
Yeah.
And so some portions of the country may not be aware of the amazing LTE coverage that we now offer. Maybe in the last 6 months, fairly recent evolution. So when they come to the site, we can target them with the new news,
right.
Increasing their propensity to switch to T-Mobile.
Sure.
As a one corner case for you.
Awesome. Well, so in making huge transformation like that, can you tell us maybe what was one of the biggest challenges and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the greatest challenge was trying to get a company that was so incredibly successful, and I don't mean that that's changed. I'm thinking about 2 years ago when we started this journey. We were in hypergrowth, and in fact we still are. And so telling people we need to change things in a point where everything is working fantastically well is a really odd scenario.
Right.
So one of the greatest challenges was getting the company convicted around digital transformation when the immediate future looked incredibly rosy.
Right.
And so, we painted a vision, something similar to the video that I played yesterday for the Adobe Summit. And I think that presented a horizon that was incredibly attractive to our teams, because we made it clear that our customers are living in the digital space,
right.
and they expected a different level of experience than the one we were offering 2 years ago. And here was a path to getting to a place where we could be best in class in delivering customer experience in that environment.
Yeah, that's a great example of being an experience ambassador, and that's a term that was really suggested as a call to action in today's keynote, that we all, instead of thinking of ourselves as marketers, we need to be experience ambassadors, and it sounds like that's really what you've been able to bring to T-Mobile.
I really love that notion, but I think it goes far beyond me. I think everyone within my team is an experience ambassador. I mean, part of the beauty of the transformation is that we are exposing tools that everybody in the team can utilize. And so everybody can evangelize the changes and are empowered to make changes to portions of the user journey that they're responsible for.
Yeah.
So I like this notion of all of us becoming experience ambassadors, and instead of having a hierarchy where somebody at the top dictates what's going to happen for the entire customer experience, we have people iterating constantly on the portion of the customer experience that they're responsible for. And I think that's a huge culture shift.
Yeah, it provides a very clear vision so people can put their best brain power to it.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Well, what advice do you have for other companies who are looking to drive personalization at scale? Maybe where should they start?
Yeah, I mean, great question. I think in our case, we had this notion of splitting the monolith. We needed to find time for our engineering teams to re-platform our back-end systems. Like any company built with legacy technology, there's an awful lot of work to do there, and it takes a long time. But it doesn't mean that you can't move forward on the front end. So you need to find a fantastic technology partner.
Yep.
And clearly, because I'm here, we found one. And by harnessing marketing technology and changing the way that we operated as a business, we were able to iterate our front-end experiences and really start making some progress and start listening to what customers were telling us about our digital experience and make some significant improvements. So of course I mentioned T-Mobile.com, but we also completely redesigned our app ground up. In fact, it used to have what I call a best-in-class terrible rating on the iOS store. We have 1.2 stars, if you can imagine that. I don't know of any app that has a score that's that bad.
No.
And clearly no one was able to get anything useful out of it.
Right.
And the team did an unbelievable job in a very short space of time, putting brand new functionality into the app. And man, did our customers respond. Within 3 months, our app score rating had moved to 4.5. It's the best in the industry. But more than that, and I guess most fulfilling, in the last year, there's been 24 million installs of the app. So now this has become the primary way that we can allow our customers to serve themselves, which I think they would say is a big experience improvement.
Absolutely. Well, Nick, thank you so much for sharing your insights and all of your experience from T-Mobile. It's super helpful to everyone.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And thanks everyone for joining us. Be sure to stay tuned. There will be more live streams from Adobe Summit 2017.